Aloha! Sandra Razielli here. Today I'm going to share with you some things that you can do while traveling, specifically after you've been off an airplane by request from a few of you travelers out there. So there's another video that shows you some of the things that you can do while you're on the plane. So take a look at that if you haven't already. And here's the things to do after you've been off the plane. So once you've gotten off the plane, you're out in the lobby. It's good to do just a few simple movements before you start carrying your bags and everything. Just a few simple movements. One, may not surprise you, is to just stretch your spine. So find a chair somewhere. You know, there's always those chairs that are rooted to the ground. And go over to them, take your hands onto the back of the chair and walk backwards with your knees bent. And breathe. Just get that length. No matter how much you've tried to sit up straight, if you're especially on the plane for a few hours, I'm sure there was some slouching that happens. I know it happens to me. Then, if you feel secure with a chair and your knees feel all right, go ahead, take a little step forward and lower on down. I recommend doing this before you get on the plane too. So this is a good before and after movement. And then, depending how you're feeling, maybe come a little bit closer. Maybe make sure your pants are pulled up, those little, wardrobe things to pay attention to. Come down towards a squat. Reach your tailbone back. Get a little more of your lumbar curve. That's what gets compromised often on those long plane rides. Breathe. All right, and then come on up. And roll your shoulders up and back and around. Nice big rolls up, back, and around. And I'm guessing you have your shoes on, so a little calf stretching, just simple. Reach, take your right foot forward and lift your toes up. As you lift the toes up, lengthen your spine. I'm assuming you don't have any books or anything right now or blocks, so then bend the back knee a little bit. Keep your spine long. Right, and then let's do the second side. Take your left foot forward, lift the toes, keep your spine long, and then bend the opposite knee. So my guess is you probably want to get out of the airport, so just two more things, really good to do. Take hip circles. You've been sitting without being able to move your hips, so take your feet a little wider in hips distance and circle them around a few times. And then switch directions. And then come on back to center. Now, if you're still holding your bags, hopefully you weren't, but if you were, go ahead and put them down. One last thing, which is really good for getting the brain to wake up, is just swing your arms back and forth. Because in a moment you'll probably be carrying some luggage or things, so just take a moment, swing your arms back and forth. If you have some space, take a few steps swinging, go ahead and do that. Forward better than back, so if you can, walk in a circle. Nice arm swing. All right, that's it. Now it's time to get out of the airport and go. All right, just a few little things can make such a huge difference. So now what about once you're back at wherever you're staying, you're exhausted? I'm going to share with you some things you can do then. I'm going to do some things first standing and then lying down. If you're really tired and you just want to skip to the lying down parts, go ahead. But if you have a little energy, it's nice to get some things moving while you're standing up. So first of all, that spine stretch again. Go to a chair where you're staying, take your hands, lean back. Breathe. And then take a step forward. Roll your shoulders. So I know sometimes people bring their yoga props with them, But if not, my guess is that you can find something that's strap-like. You can use a belt, you can use a towel. I had a belt ready, but I'm gonna just use a towel instead. Even a big bath towel to hold on to, right? Holding onto the towel, and take your arms up and reach. Breathe, feet grounding, spine lengthening. On your exhalation, do a little side bending. Turn your head the opposite way that you're bending. So if you're bending to the right, turn your head to the left. Breathe. Come back up. And second side. One nice thing with the towel is if you pull the hand that's lower to the ground, it gives you a nice stretch in the rib cage. Come back up. And then, all-time favorite, strap towel stretch. Begin to take the strap behind your back. Keep your chin back, so be careful not to come forward because of the restriction. Keep the length in the back of your neck, coming up and down. Good. All right, and then put the strap off to the side. Roll your shoulders a few times again. So a little bit more space in the upper body. Let's do calf stretch. So legs are probably really tight from traveling from the sitting. So if you have a book or a block, or find something just that you can put your foot on, even like the bottom of a chair where the bar goes across. So for calf stretching. So stand in front of whatever it is that you are using, and go ahead, take your right foot up onto that lift. And let's find the alignment points. Mountain pose. Back of the head, space between the shoulder blades, sacrum in line with each other as much as possible, while at the same time letting your lower ribs drop and be in line with the hip points. So those two combined can be quite challenging. If you can't do them all, focus on the hip points in line with the lower ribs. And breathe. Feet grounding, spine lengthening. Take your arms by your side, firm the shoulder blades. Okay, and then release. Just take a few steps. And let's do the second side. So, other foot on the lift. Keeping the feet as parallel as comfortable. Hip points and ribs in line with each other. Breathing. And then release. And again, circle the shoulders. Take your feet a little bit wider than hips distance apart. Let's do a few more hip circles, bringing them forward, to the right, back, and around. Fairly big and slow. So you get a nice hinge at the hips as you come back with the pelvis. The torso comes forward. And then reverse directions. And then again, roll the shoulders. So because we've been in this static position for a long time, it's nice to get a little bit of a twist in the body. And so you can begin to rock side to side. Make sure as you do this that you lift the heel of the direction that you're going away from. So you begin to lift the heel and spiral. I'll do it in slow motion. Start standing, and then the arms, let's say turn to the right. As you turn the arms to the right, lift the back heel. let your arms swing around. And then unwind, come back. Other direction, lift the right heel. Arms come around as you swing to the left. And then begin to speed it up. Let your arms swing. You can choose if you want to take your arms up a little higher. They do this, I think I just hit the microphone. They do this in a lot of martial arts preparations. I learned this kind of thing from my friend Kumar. Some of you have met him. Some of you have seen him on the big screen. He was a yogi and a plate spinner and an amazing handstander and an all-around, well-accomplished, funny, kind man. This was the first thing he taught me, was to do this. He said do it 300 times a day. I admit I have not followed through on that, but I still do it. All right, so let's get the breath going. And then begin to slow down, come back to mountain pose. Notice we're rolling the shoulders a lot. Getting to the shoulder blades, go ahead and reach your arms out to the side. Roll your arms so your palms face up. Big asana. Nice and long. Okay, now a little bit more opening for the hips. So I'm going to assume you don't have blocks, but you have a bed. I have a ledge, but you probably have a bed where you're staying. So if you come into big asana in front of the bed, lift your hip sockets up and over your thigh bones, hinge forward, put your hands onto the bed. Great opportunity to stretch. Breathe, hips come back, spine lengthens. Then bend your knees just a little bit. Take your sit bones back. And then press your thigh bones back. Again, to straighten the legs. And then to come up, bend your knees a little. Maybe walk your feet a little closer. Inhale, come up. Take a moment, walk your feet together. And take your right foot forward. A little bit of ankle circles. So we're going to keep the ball of the foot on the ground and circle your ankle. Try to make the movement really from the ankle. And then switch directions. And then second side. Circling the ankle. Notice I'm not moving my leg a lot. It's going to move, but I'm encouraging not a lot of movement from the leg now, just from the ankle. So notice this practice, it's not focused just on one thing. It's really opening up all these different parts that after we travel can get a little tired, opening up the joints, getting the breath to flow. Next, get your strap or your towel. This time I'll use the strap because it's right here. Take the strap behind your back. Come into that mountain pose again. And then lift the strap up. Firm your shoulder blades. Breathe so you get a sense of widening in the chest. You may even take your arms a little wider as you do this. Just opening up. Release the strap. Take your hands behind your back. If it works for you to interlace your fingers, go ahead. If not, hold on to the strap, I guess, again. But otherwise, interlace your fingers. If possible, bring your palms together and then begin to lift your arms. Now, one secret to this is if you lift your eyes. So if you lift your eyes up, notice I can go a lot further. This is with my eyes down. This is as far as I can go. If I lift my eyes, woo! So getting into that stretch. Release the arms. Again, roll your shoulders up and around. Take your legs wide. About a leg's length apart. Big asana. Roll your arms, palms face up. Come for a moment into a cactus. Firm the shoulder blades. Good. Then bring your hands to your hips. Turn your left leg in, your right leg out. And on your exhalation, begin to bend the front knee. Up and down. So you may have noticed I was too tired to change my clothes, metaphorically speaking. I was too tired to change my clothes after the airplane ride. Because I didn't feel like unpacking. but I'm still able to do all these movements in jeans. Probably do a lot of them in a skirt, depending on how tight your skirt is. So it's coming up and down. And then come back up. Let's go the other direction. Getting more movement in the hip joint. Feels good. Feels good even if I haven't been on a plane ride for a while. Just bending and straightening your leg. All right, let's go back to the first side. Right leg. Take your arms on up this time. And just hold for a moment. Reach through the back leg. Breathe. Come back up. Second side. You can take your arms down or keep them up. Hold for a little bit. Come back up. Bring your hands to your hips. Walk your feet back towards each other. Find your mattress or whatever you can fold in front of. Take your legs wide again. Hip sockets lift up and over your thigh bones as you hinge forward. Now if it feels good to let your spine release a little lower, you can let your head hang for a moment. And then to come up, bend your knees. Inhale, come on up. Walk your feet together. If there's any other movements standing, maybe a little fluid movement, just take a little time to move other parts around. Wiggle your jaw, turn your head side to side. Just take a little time, free form, giving you a free form moment. Notice how things are moving. Let things move. All right. And then make your way down to the ground. So this is a part I said earlier that if you're just exhausted, you want to lie down right away, just go for it. Come on, have a strap within reach. I recommend lying down on the floor, not the bed, because the bed sinks. So then it's good to have a towel or a mat around you. Go ahead and lie on down, have the strap within reach. Take your arms out to your side, about shoulder height. Exhale. Good. Let yourself have a long exhalation. And then let's do a little bit of Elvis twisting. Begin to bring your left knee towards your right foot. Let the right knee go off to the side. Let that move into your pelvis, into your spine. Come up on the inhalation. And go back down on the exhalation. Inhale up. Exhale down. Each time you might go a little bit further. Inhaling up, exhaling down. As you go a little further, you might feel that spine begins to spiral more. If you feel like you want to turn your head the opposite direction of your knees, go ahead and do that. If that doesn't come naturally, check it out and see if it feels good to do that. If not, just let your head be where it is. And then after you've done both sides evenly, come back up. Grab your strap. And just hold it up overhead. And as you inhale, take your arms towards the wall behind you. And reach and stretch for a bit. Notice my ribs were popping up, so I'm catching myself, lowering the ribs, reaching through my arms. All right, and then release the strap, bend your left knee in towards your chest just a little bit. So since traveling, right, we're sitting a lot, we don't get a lot of movement in the hip joint. Just gentle circle, one direction. And the other direction. And release. Let's go to the right side. Knee to the chest. Gentle circle, one direction. And other direction. Encouraging the body to stay stable, but don't force it now. You might see I'm moving a little myself. Good, release that. Take your left ankle over your right thigh. Spiral the knee out to the side. Bring the right knee to your chest. Take your hands to the back of the thigh or use a strap. Get that opening in the hip joint and circle the right thigh a little bit. So your axis a little bit different places in your left hip. Release your right leg, release your left leg. Second side, left ankle over the right thigh. Knee into the chest. A lot of these, for those of you who practice yoga, I'm taking my classes, all these are pretty basic, simple movements, which is great. That means you know how to do them, they're familiar. And I keep repeating them because they are so beneficial. Bring the left foot down, right foot down. And then bring the soles of your feet together. Let your knees come out to the side. Rest your hands just on your lower belly. Take a few breaths. Then bring your hands to your thighs. Bring your knees together. Time for classic Supta Padangusasana. You can choose to have one leg bent or that leg straight. Right? Swing the strap around your foot. Extend your leg. So you might find that after traveling, there's a lot more tightness in your legs than usual. So be gentle, be kind with yourself. Strap around the ball of your toes. Heel up towards the ceiling. Gentle breaths, shoulder blades away from your ears, neck nice and long. And then maybe move the leg a little forward and back. And then go ahead and cross the strap. As you cross the strap, give a little pull with your right hand. That's to get that outer side of the calf on the left leg. And you might take your leg a little forward and back here too with that pull. And then release. Feel the legs next to each other. And depending where you're staying, you might all of a sudden have the sun appear. So you might want to get out of the sun, move out of the window, switch directions. That's what I'm going to do as we do the other leg. So, other side, right knee to the chest, strap around the right foot, extend the right leg up and away. Foot into strap, strap into foot, reach through the heel. Say hello to the gastrocnemius, the muscle in the back of your leg. Maybe bring your leg a little forward, a little back. And being kind, noticing if there's tightness, maybe more than usual. Then go ahead and cross the strap. Pull a little more with the left hand than the right hand. Feel into that calf. And then release. Feel the legs next to each other. We'll do a little bit more for each leg, getting a little more of the inner thigh. So bend your left knee, take the strap around the foot, take the leg up and away, take both ends of the strap this time into your left hand, right arm out to the side. Externally rotate the left leg, and as you begin to take the left leg out to the side, bend your left elbow so you can place your left upper arm on the ground. Be careful not to hurt the wrist, so I like to straighten my wrist here. So I give support to my leg so it's not hanging in space. I just lengthen it, but I'm not forcing it to come to the ground. I just want to give a gentle opening there. And then to come up, bend the knee, bring the leg back up. Second side in a moment. Right knee into the chest, strap around the right foot, leg comes up, externally rotate, left arm out to the side, slowly take the right leg out to the side, using the arm to support the leg. And to come up, bend the right knee, bring the leg back up. Let the legs be next to each other. Okay, one more movement before we come to more stillness. So bend both knees. We're going to come back to the hip opener. Left ankle over your right thigh. Bring your knee into your chest. We're going to bring it into a twist. So take your arms out to the side like a cactus, or a little less bent than a cactus. And then spiral the knees to the left. Upper body spirals to the right. Right foot can come onto the floor. Breathe. And then bring your knees back up. Place your right foot down, left foot down. One more side. Right ankle over the thigh. Left knee into the chest. Bring the knees over to the left. Upper body spirals to the right. Inhale, knees back up. All right, so now if you just want to come into Shavasana, go for it. But there's another great position to do, especially after you've been on a plane, which is to take your legs up. Now there's two ways you can do it. One is you can simply just lie down with your legs up in the air, or you can have a little support for your pelvis. So that's why I've been having this bolster sitting here. And so what you'll need to do is go by a wall or maybe even your bedboard. You can do this one on the bed if you really don't want to lie on the floor, or if you don't have a wall. And I'll show you two ways. The first way is without the bolster. You're going to just sit next to the wall. I'm using the fence. And you'll pivot, turn yourself, use your hands to turn so that your legs go up the wall, and bring them as close as works for you to the wall. And then just lie down. I would be here for at least 5 minutes. I recommend that if you've been on a plane. If you find, again, that your eyes look backwards when you do this, take a lift under your head and breathe. Now, to come out, you bend your knees, roll over to your side, and come up. So the other option, it's just a tiny bit cumbersome, but to get the right position, but well worth the effort if you have the energy, is to take the bolster and you sit, or a pillow. You're going to sit on the bolster. So basically the part of your buttocks that's closest to the wall is off the bolster. The other part is on the bolster or the pillow. You can roll up a pillow. Then you take your legs up so that when you come down, there's a little bit of support for an opening right through here. Right through here, I'm talking about the area between the ribs and the hip points. So that, again, we're encouraging the lower front ribs not to lift too much, or really not to lift at all, but sometimes that's very challenging. Take your arms by your side and take your time here and breathe. Let your legs be relaxed, just being supported by the wall. Let your breath flow. And let the flow of the breath guide you to relaxation. I'm going to be with you with the recording for a few more minutes. But if you find that this feels really good, you want to stay longer, please do so. So if you feel ready to come out of your relaxation pose now, just wiggle your fingers a little bit, wiggle your toes. If you're lying flat, you can bend your knees, reach through your arms and legs. If your legs are up the wall, bend your knees, and then whichever position you're in, roll over to your side. Stay there a moment, and then make your way up to sitting. Once you're there, feel your sit bones grounding, encourage your spine to lengthen. Bring your palms together over your heart. Breathe in the movement. May your journeys be pleasant and full of fluidity, strength, joy, ease, comfort, and freedom. Namaste. And mahalo. So I hope you enjoyed this practice. Just moving all different parts after being on the airplane, things being scrunched up, opening up. Like I said earlier, you might find that you don't want to do the standing part. You just want to do the sitting part, and the reclined part and the legs up the wall, or you might just come and want to do legs up the wall. That's a great thing to do. 15-20 minutes after an airplane, legs up the wall. Most excellent. So as usual, let me know if you have any questions, Thanks for watching. Mahalo.